Debate on the separation of powers dominated the first day of a three-day post-election seminar of the National Assembly in Mombasa.
Well, the opposition MPs accused the Jubilee party of trying to reverse the gains made in the independence of the legislature and judiciary, but Speaker Justin Muturi challenged the members of parliament from across the political divide to act beyond interests and positions when transacting house business, as Enoch Sikolia reports.
The right to vote.
Concerns that President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee administration is attempting to limit the independence of Parliament and the judiciary resurfaced as members of the National Assembly deliberated on how to improve on their service delivery.
It was not a mistake for the people of Kenya to decide to separate the power of the executive, the powers of the judiciary, and the powers of the legislature. If we wanted one arm of government, we would have given ourselves one arm of government. But we decided that for good governance, we must have executive that implements policies which are generated from the legislature. But there must be another third arm of government that provides checks and balances to these two other arms of government, and that is the judiciary.
The retreat by MPs coming weeks after the Inspector General of Police Joseph Boynet and the DCI Director George Kinoti repeatedly defied court orders to explain the arrest and deportation of NRM General Miguna.
We must respect the judiciary. We have no option. We have to respect the judiciary and live with it.
The government was also accused of undermining the independence of Parliament after ICT Cabinet Secretary John Musheru repeatedly refused to honor summons by a Senate committee following the government's shutdown of 3 major TV stations. The Commonwealth Parliamentary Association says the rule of law should be Kenya's blueprint in achieving the separation of powers.
You know, one of the things that I think increasingly which is troubling, and you're seeing this in the Commonwealth, is gratuitous attacks on judges for making decisions in applying the law correctly as a judicial function and finding that the executive has in some way overreached themselves. And then in response, the executive attacks the judges, or more problematically, I think, under the guise of parliamentary privilege, members then attack the members of the judiciary.
We expect the judiciary to also respect the legislature, Mr. Speaker. And it is not rocket science, Mr. Speaker. It is not rocket science to discern that some of the judicial orders issued in the last 2 years may appear to be whimsical and indeed intended to prejudice the functioning of the legislature.
You react to a judgment that we have made by slashing our budget. You do not punish the judges who sit in court because our salary comes from the consolidated fund. That you cannot touch. The people you punish are the people who have put you in parliament.
The legislative arm of government has appeared to be under threat of being controlled from outside. President Kenyatta recently read the Riot Act to Jubilee MPs during a parliamentary group meeting held at State House, warning them to either toe the party line or ship out. NASA leaders have also been receiving directions on how to debate and vote in Parliament. Speaker Justin Muturi says even though MPs should respect their political parties, their actions should be as independent as possible.
Blind pursuit of party position should not blur our bottom line in terms of discharging the constitutional responsibilities in Parliament. This is the ultimate challenge to political party leadership and members in this Parliament. We must think and act beyond our political party interests to guarantee the electorate the governance they deserve.
Members of the National Assembly are expectant that at the end of the 3-day retreat here in Mombasa, Parliament will be able to regain its lost glory. Enoch Sikolia, NTV, and the county of Mombasa.